Okay, so it's 7:03 and I'm going to call the meeting to order. So the first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from our previous regular meeting, which was January 9th, not the special meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Christina.
Thank you. Any discussion? No. Okay, so all in favor of approving the minutes from January 9th, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Or raise your hand. All against? Okay, so the minutes, yeah, sorry, Sharon.
I
Or
just
comments.
I have to abstain.
Oh, okay,
I
sorry.
wasn't here. Yeah.
Any abstentions?
Yay.
Thank you. Okay, so our next item is public comment. So would like to open the meeting for public comment if there's anybody who is waiting to make a comment. Michelle, do you see anyone?
Yes, we have Diane Lauricella. So Diane, I will unmute you.
Okay, thanks, Michelle. And hi, Diane. Before you start, I just want to, and for anyone, if there is anyone else who's offering public comment, we do just want to try to keep it to 3 minutes per city rules. So thank you.
That's terrific, although I would love all the boards and commissions to consider changing that, because especially when there's only one person on the, but that's for future discussion. Anyway, good evening, everyone. My name is Diane Lauricella. I looked at your agenda and it has some really great items on it. So I just wanted to briefly discuss in my 3 minutes or 2.5 minutes the following. Under new business, Women's History Month events, I think that's terrific. Good to see that there might be some activity. I wanted to suggest that there be a book discussion or a listening session about communication, women's communication style, but also how women are treated when they attempt to speak in public. A book that comes to mind, although it's kind of dated, is Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. There have been many other books, and I'm going to do some checking around and contact Michelle and others, because I think it's important for us to talk about the communication issues that have arisen. Under old business, you have, of course, your diversity committee speaking about plans to diversify boards and commissions, to speak about it, get ready for the March meeting. There'll be that PowerPoint that Sharon and others have put together. I look forward to see that and work with the city on initiatives to diversify boards and commissions. So what I wanted to state is, I don't know if any of you saw my letter to the editor in Nancy on Norwalk I think it was last week. I will submit it for the record after this meeting. I didn't hear one peep from any of you to reach out to me to discuss it, but within it, it talks about the need for gender sensitivity or gender diversity training because of an incident that occurred in the Planning and Zoning public hearing about the capital budget and the Norwalk High School. Luckily, all of that is recorded. The thing is that assertive women, including myself, are treated as if we're aggressive and attackers, when actually we are giving constructive critique or criticism and are treated much differently. I believe, lastly, I just wanted to say that one of the topics in my letter to the editor is the Board of Estimate and Taxation. Tomorrow night, there are 2 people that will be asked to, or appointed or up for appointment to the 2 current seats, and that is a female and a male. I had hoped that this commission would have sent a letter to the mayor and the council about endorsing whenever possible, when there are openings, doing a better job reaching out to women. Right now, it's who you know and who are your friends with, who you play tennis with, who is like oneself. And the thing is, they have not used creative methods like other towns in my letter, like Newtown has, puts it in the Newtown B. So I think the city can do a better job. And I'd like to see this commission stick its neck out a little bit and in public ask that the city with good intentions reaches out in a better way. I am opposed to the mail that is being, not because of him personally, but because they once again will have one token female on the Board of Estimate and Taxation. This has been an issue that's gone on for decades, at least a decade prior to the current mayor, but it's continued with this mayor. And I'm very disappointed in that. So with that, I ask that you look for my letter to the editor and really include in your discussions a gender diversity training. Thank you for your listening to me and have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Diane. And the diversification presentation does touch on a number of things you mentioned. Michelle, are there any other folks waiting to make public comment?
No, that's it. Thanks so much, Diane.
Okay, thanks, Diane. So let's see. So we have a couple of updates about things that we have set up for the March 13th meeting, our March meeting. The first is that Lieutenant Governor Susan Bysiewicz will join us on March 13th. There was a chance she may have joined us tonight, but that's been pushed to March. So I know Michelle's been in touch with her, and maybe Michelle, you can just share a little bit about maybe what if she has made suggestions about what to speak about, and then also we could just open it up for discussion if you all have ideas about what you'd like to talk to her about or how we want to use that time with her.
Sure, absolutely. So I think it's a great opportunity to brainstorm with her outreach events that we might be able to do with the state commission that she is the chair of, that Stephen Hernandez came and spoke about as the executive director. But really, it's an opportunity for you all to share further ideas that you might have. It could be a chance to talk about or ask her what legislative items she thinks are most impactful to women and gender equity and the LGBTQ plus community this session, and ways that you all could advocate for that legislation. It could be outreach events in the community. It could be working with other municipalities that she might be in touch with. Really, it's endless in terms of the questions you might want to ask her as someone who, as you all know, has been a gender equity champion throughout her career. But not sure if anyone has any feedback or questions, ideas they want to share now.
Michelle, Christina here. Would we be, if we have any particular questions that we might want her to address, can we gather those and send those in advance?
That's a great idea. Absolutely.
Would we just send those, forgive me, would we send those to you?
Yes. Yeah. If you could send those to me, that would be great. I'll make sure that she gets them beforehand.
Yep, I just want to say thank you, Michelle, for all your work and effort and bringing in these great speakers. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, and I know that you're going above and beyond your role as our liaison, and I just want to say thank you.
Oh, thanks so much. I appreciate that.
I second that. Any other thoughts or ideas for that? Okay, I'm excited. I look forward to having her join us. I think that'll be cool. Okay, so the other update for the March 13th meeting is that, sorry, I'm looking down at the agenda. Melissa Murray, who's a member of Norwalk Actions for Reproductive Justice. So there are actually two things. I'll turn it over to Michelle just about the, well, I guess she had written to a few of us actually to see if she could present, or some of the members of the group could present to the commission, and suggested basically open to any time. So two things. One is that we do have a few things on the March agenda already, including Lieutenant Governor Bysiewicz. So, and I think the Diversification Committee is going to do the presentation. So that's a lot already. So I would propose that we invite them to come to the April meeting, but I want to put that out to all of you and see what you think.
If I might make a suggestion.
Please.
Yes, the agenda is very long for March, and I don't want to be rushed in the presentation because I think it's really important, and we waited a really long time to do this publicly. But I know Melissa has some important events that are prior to April. So maybe as long as we could read off those events, just as like a courtesy, the events that might be happening in March before she gets there.
Yeah, I think that's great. And also just there is that event that that just as a reminder, they're having an event on this Thursday, the 16th of February, Eco-Evolution on Washington Street. It's, I think their kind of kickoff event for the, again, the Norwalk Actions for Reproductive Justice. So that's it's from 7 to 8. So that's one event for sure in this week. So I know some of us are going, but that's a great point, Sharon. We can see like between February 16th and our April meeting, what other things might they be having that we should be aware of? And we could share those at the March meeting. Anything else on that? So should we invite, do we need a motion to invite them or for April or no?
I think you could ask, that way everyone participates.
Thank you. Okay, so can I have a motion? Is there a motion to invite Melissa Murray and her and any other members of the Norwalk Actions for Reproductive Justice to join us at our April meeting?
Yes,
So moved.
Okay, may I have a second? Thank you. All right, so the motion, are we good? No, we have to vote on the motion. Okay, so all in favor of the motion, raise your hand or say aye. Okay. Anyone against? Any abstentions? And noting Melody voted with a raised hand on the screen. Okay, it passes unanimously. Thank you. And we can figure out. I'm happy to write back to her. I was on the email when she reached out, so I'm happy to write to her. Or Michelle, do you want to do that?
Sure. Sure, I
Okay.
can.
Okay, super. Thank you very much. Okay, the next item under new business is the idea of creating a committee to focus on community outreach and civic engagement. This was something that I thought of as a result of our February 1st special meeting. There were so many things that were suggested and discussed that really fall into the category of kind of sort of a dual category of community outreach and civic engagement. And I thought, and it would be, if we did create such a committee, it would really dovetail with both the Diversification Committee and the Research Committee. It wouldn't need a lot of people, and I know we have a number of committees already. So I just wanted to bring that here and see what your thoughts were and see if there's sort of an appetite for creating that kind of committee. Any thoughts?
I think it's a good committee. I do. I agree with, we had a lot of discussion about it at the last meeting. So, I would be happy to join that committee with the idea of action. We, as a committee of action, we want to, inform the community about our commission and, our goals that we have. So, yes, if that is I would be happy to be a part of it. And I agree that there is a need.
Great, thanks, Jasmine.
You're
If we do
welcome.
create one, I would also like to be on it. I'd be really interested in that. And I agree with the idea of having it action oriented. Are there other comments or thoughts, questions? Okay, so seeing none, then could I have is there a motion to create a civic engagement, community engagement, civic, what did we say? Community Outreach and Civic Engagement Committee. We can rename it maybe. Is that, Sharon, are you making a motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to create a community outreach and civic engagement committee.
I'll
Great. Is there-
second.
Thank you. So let's vote on the motion. All in favor of creating the Community Outreach and Civic Engagement Committee, please say aye or raise your hand. All right. Anyone against? I think that was unanimous. Okay, so that motion passes unanimously. I also wanted to just, it's not here, but we do have a nominations committee, which I wanted to bring up as, I wanted to suggest that maybe we no longer need a nominations committee. Christina and I have formed that, but really we all can bring names of people or encourage people we know. I think the purpose of that committee when we created it a year ago was to really try to fill vacant seats, but because we now know a lot more, or at least some of us, I think some of us already knew, but more about what the process is to fill the vacancies. That I think that's a role we can all play to try to encourage people we know to apply for vacancies on our commission. And we'll get to the other vacancies on other commissions in a few minutes. But so I wanted just to put it out to the group. Do we feel that we still need, and I know there was a special nominating committee created at our last meeting for the purpose of identifying a chair and vice chair candidates, but for kind of the ongoing nominations committee, do we feel that we still need that, or should we disband that small but mighty committee? Thoughts?
I don't think we need it, after tonight, and we can always re-engage if we need to, depending on what comes up. But my understanding is always it's for a set purpose and a set meeting, which we're going to handle tonight. So.
Okay, I agree.
Okay. Any other discussion? Christina, I see you nodding in assent. Okay. Okay, so is there a motion to, I guess, disband the nominations committee that had been created shortly last
Sorry,
year?
Claudia, I don't mean to cut you off. I think we need to do the nominations. We need to leave it in place, do
there were-
it,
Mm,
and then, because they haven't done their job yet.
right. So I think there are actually two committees. There was the one that was created last year, which is comprised of Christina and myself, which was
Got it.
created to nominate people or help nominate people to fill the vacancies on the commission. And then there's the
Okay, yeah.
nominating committee
For tonight.
for tonight,
Okay.
which you and
Yep.
Jasmine have been working on.
Yep.
So this is the
Okay.
former, the nominations committee.
Okay. No problem.
Thank you very much. All right, so is there a motion to disband the nomination committee?
Right.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. And all in favor of disbanding the nominations committee? Right. Oops. Thanks, Christina. Okay, that was unanimous. So that passes too. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Michelle for the next couple of items, the Women's History Month and the exhibit at Fairfield University.
Great, thanks so much, Claudia. So just because March is Women's History Month and we brainstormed, or you all brainstormed a bunch of great potential outreach ideas, I just wanted to propose potentially planning something for Women's History Month. Of course, you all don't have to, and I understand that March is, just next month, so it could potentially be a lot, but I definitely wanted to propose it. And see if anyone has any ideas in mind. The next item, while not in Norwalk, is a potential topic that could go into Women's History Month. But first, I just wanted to see if anyone had any thoughts or ideas.
can I speak for a moment? I guess my question is this our role to create events? Or is this something that we should be working with the city to ensure that it is in the DNA of the city to always have women's events? Like, I don't see other commissions creating events, and that's a lot of work. I love it. I love that you're asking it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just-
that's a good point. It would be, I should have clarified, it would be in collaboration with the city, right? So, and I think based on the new committee, the outreach committee and civic engagement committee, community outreach and civic engagement committee, it could be an event that committee wants to take on. But I really, because so many good ideas were discussed last month, just kidding, this month on February 1st, I just wanted to see if anyone wanted to propose anything, but it would be in collaboration with the city.
Hi, it's Melody. Sorry, I joined a little late and there's quite a bit going on behind me, so I can't be on camera tonight. Not sure if we can get this done by next month. I think that might be pushing it a little, but I have been reflecting, especially after the plaque unveiling for the Hill Sisters and seeing the large youth turnout at that particular event. I thought it would be a good idea to really find a way to promote youth education on historical women figures, specifically women figures in the history of Norwalk. So especially with partnering with, different organizations here in our city, I thought it might be good to create some sort of collaboration with the Norwalk Historical Society to set up an annual, and again, we can kind of brainstorm a little bit more about this, but more of a history contest that we can modify for school age children. So modify it for elementary, middle, and high school. And I did reach out to Diane Jelleret, who's the director of the Norwalk Historical Society, just to put out feelers to see if something like this has already been done. And I also reached out to Barbara Smith, who is on the Common Council and was recently appointed, I think it's program events coordinator at the Norwalk Historical Society. And she said it hasn't been done. She would love to do something like that. I think she was a teacher before joining the Common Council. And she said it would be great to collaborate with the commission on a project similar to that. So not sure if we're interested in moving forward with doing something like that. So.
That's such a great idea, Melody. Thanks so much for sharing it and taking the time to put the pieces together. Does anyone have any questions or want to add to what Melody shared?
I love it. The only thing I can think of that it's similar to is, and I love it, we should definitely do it. Lockwood Matthews Mansion has a bit of a writing contest, but I love this whole concept, and thank you for all that, for doing all that work. Yeah.
So I'm actually meeting with Barbara tomorrow for coffee on another related note, but I can definitely talk to her a little bit more about this potential partnership and come back to all of you at our next meeting, or I don't know, we can talk kind of offline with some of the other members to see how we can continue creating an event like this.
And Melody, just sorry, did I just interrupt someone?
Sorry, I was just gonna say I love the concept. I just don't know if we can pull it off in 2 weeks, but I love it. And wearing, as we all wear many hats here, Sharon, to your point, on the board of trustees over at the mansion. So if we needed to just make sure we weren't stepping on toes, I'd be happy to run it by our people. But I mean, there's plenty of room for everybody. We'll make it work.
So just to clarify, Melody, were you thinking of something for March, or just to get something and start the conversation and try to pull something together at whatever point seems feasible?
So obviously setting something up for March would be ideal. I think it's going to be very difficult at this point because we would have to advertise it in the schools. So we would have to first, create some sort of framework for the contest. There's a lot of different ways we can, or approaches that we can take with the history contest. I think I think you just mentioned the Lockwood Matthews Mansion Museum does essay contest, but we can also do a video contest for high school students. And then there are different like approaches on the actual contest itself. So do we want them to just, focus on one figure in Norwalk, write about it, or do a video about that person and then submit that? Or focus on a person and like talk about how that inspires them, in their life and how that can inspire, the future generation. So I think there's like different ways of thinking about the contest. I think would be good to at least look into what Lockwood Matthews is doing, to maybe do a different variation on the contest. So it's not exactly the same. And I think maybe also doing like a little incentive. I'm not sure if that's possible. Not a huge monetary incentive, but something small to get, people more involved.
Yeah, can I just add to that? If you were to kick it off in March, just another way to engage with the community, and depending how you shape the program, but you could have these students write something short and then bring and plan out for the 12 months we meet, have a student come in and read theirs once a month if it's short. But that could be really a great way to engage with the community and the Commission on the Status of Women, and also to talk about women's history.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. That would definitely be a good approach. Love it.
That's great. So in terms of next steps, Melody, after you talk to Barbara, do you want to come back? My concern is that our next meeting isn't until March 13th. So
so I am, again, like obviously new to being on a commission. So the subcommittee, I don't know how to really, I would obviously need to meet with Barbara tomorrow and see, what type of partnership they want to form with our commission. And then Shannon, you said you were also going to look into Lockwood Matthews. So can we, just the three of us at least, have some sort of like email communication? I don't know what the rules are. I don't think it can be many of us. Is that correct, Michelle?
Right, it can't be 5 or more.
Okay. So I agree with you. I would definitely need to get a move on this. But I definitely like Sharon's idea. So let me talk with Barbara tomorrow, and then I can update all the commission members by tomorrow afternoon and see if we can get a move on this.
that sounds great. Thank you so much.
Do we want to propose, if this doesn't like work out for March, do we want to propose another time? Like, do we want to do it, but just before like the end of the school year, like by June or something? Like, if do you want to have another date just to propose to Barbara if March can't come together, being that it's like 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think it would be great to at least have that as a backup plan. Worst case scenario, I don't think it's going to take too long to like figure out logistics for the contest. So I think that we can do in definitely less than a week. And then it's a matter of, I don't know how this would work, but Barbara would know more about this, how to, spread the word within the public school systems to make sure, kids are aware of the contest and then also have time to create their content. I think at the very least, it's Women's History Month. So at least we're, talking about this during Women's History Month. And if the deadline to submit the content is, 1 month after, I don't think that's a big deal. I think at least we're doing our work on, shedding the light on the importance of, contributions of women in the history of Norwalk during Women's History Month. So I think that's the main part.
Okay, great.
Yeah, that sounds great. Christina, you have your hand up. Do you have
Yeah, just if I want to make sure I heard correctly that the individual that you were referring to, Melody, she's with the Historical Commission?
So Diane Jellera is the director of the Norwalk Historical Society, but Barbara Smith is on the Common Council, but she
Okay.
was just appointed
Okay.
as program events coordinator.
Okay, have we taught, I mean, I do like the idea and I'm a firm believer that, when we have the months, they're to be celebrated, but we can also do things outside that particular month. But I also wonder do we know if there's anything going on of this nature already in the Norwalk Public Schools?
I don't know that. So I asked her in the email if a contest like this has already happened. I don't think she was aware of the Lockwood Matthews contest, so she said no, but she said that she was very interested in, setting this up. So I think I need to go to the meeting tomorrow and definitely get more information about the feasibility of setting up a contest like this, and B, what the time frame would be. And I think Barbara, especially with her education background, and now with her new position, would be, I think she's in a great spot to really tell us what, the feasibility of all these plans.
Gotcha. I just wasn't sure if we should be checking with the schools just in case either a particular school or these schools are doing something through NPS. That's the only thing I was getting at.
I was gonna ask Melody if she can loop me in, and I'll just make sure the schools aren't doing anything similar. And then one big step is or would be working directly with the schools and getting some sign off with them. So we would make sure to work directly with them. So, but Melody, when you talk to Barbara and get more input, if you could just make me aware, and I will ask the schools that question.
Great, thank you.
Okay, perfect.
That's great. And I think, another, as others have said, it may be, Melody, once you talk to her tomorrow, it's something we can launch in March and actually sort of like have it take another month or two to kind of materialize, like launch it and then give a date in April or May before the end of the school year where they would submit the content. And maybe if it is a contest, then, another few weeks later, but again, before the school, maybe end of May, to have some group of people serve as judges to, whatever the format is, but maybe we could take a little bit more time, but really use March as a way to launch it. Anyway, just a thought.
Perfect. So I'll give you an update tomorrow then after the meeting.
That's great. Thank you so much. Okay, our next item is the nominating committee that Shannon referenced before, and just
Sorry, Claudia, just one other Women's
I'm sorry. Yeah.
History Month. No, so Sarah Rendon Garcia wasn't able to make the meeting today, and she just wanted to share that, which is I think right after the Women's History Month on the agenda, that there is a women's rights or human rights exhibit that opened up at Fairfield University, and it's open through April 6th. It specifically hosts a exhibit about women's rights or human rights, international gender-based inequality, violence, discrimination, and in case anyone was interested in seeing it or expanding on the time frame that it's there, to let her know, or we could share and discuss now too.
Michelle, can you send an email with the event information?
Sure.
It's also in the written agenda for today.
Oh, okay.
It's at the Art Museum on campus at Fairfield University. I forget the name of it, but it's supposed to be quite good. I haven't been there, but yeah, but I'm planning to go.
Well, I would love to go with you as well. So maybe we can arrange that via email, and then we can find a mutual time that would work for us. And then I would be happy to attend.
Great. We can let everyone know. That'd be fun to go together if it works. It's hard to coordinate schedules, but yeah. Excellent. Anything else on that, Michelle, or no?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right, so just to remind all of us that, and for those who may not have been aware, that Annie Keegan, who was the chair, stepped down as chair, but also stepped down from the commission. And that took place on February 1st. She notified Michelle. So I'll turn it over to Jasmine and Shan.
Okay. So for the chair, so do I just name the people who, the person? Okay, so for chair, we have Claudia, who was nominated for chair. And then for vice chair, we have Shannon, who was nominated for vice chair. Do we vote now? Do I ask for a vote?
Are we allowed to ask questions? I have a candidate question. I love you both, but I really want to know, do you believe in reproductive rights?
So I appreciate the question, and I mean, I can answer for myself. So I do believe in reproductive rights. I believe in bodily autonomy for all people and whatever he, she, they want to do for and on themselves, and the right for all people to have self-governance. However, I don't know that that is a requirement that we have anywhere in our bylaws, or it's certainly not in our bylaws. But so I appreciate the question, but if we had people who were not, did not, I just think it's a deeper conversation.
Yeah, I think it's an important question, and I think it should be addressed because we're voting, and it's really important, especially it's just a question. Thank you for answering. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I'd like Shannon to answer that too.
Sorry, I'm just driving in the car, so I'm doing the best I can to answer this on the fly. I mean, yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, thanks guys. Thanks for answering.
Thank you.
I had to ask because it was a question we did not ask when we were trying to select members for the Commission on the Status of Women. Yeah.
Thank you, Sharon. Christina, seems like no? Oh, sorry.
No, I just want to process the question. As we represent all women of the city of Norwalk. So I'm just processing the question, not that I'm just processing it. That's all.
Sorry. Okay, thank you. Anyone else have any questions? Oh, sorry, Claudia.
Just a procedural question on how we move forward.
I'd like to move that we accept the nominated slate for chair and of Claudia. And I'm sorry, last names should be included in the nomination. So, well, just for the record, I'd like to move that we accept the slate of Claudia Warman Connor for chair and Shannon O'Toole. And I cannot see the rest of your last name. I know it's longer in Italian, and I'm apologize, Shannon. I cannot see it on my screen to nominate you.
It's okay. It's Janderko.
Thank you.
Stan O'Toole was a lot cleaner, but here we are.
So I'd like to nominate, or like to move that we accept the nomination slate.
Do you need a second? Or do we vote? I'll second.
So I guess we have to thank you. And I guess now we vote on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Shannon, sorry, I know you're driving. Can you verbally vote? Or maybe you're not voting.
No, yes, aye.
Aye.
Oh, aye, okay. Okay, I think that was unanimous. with Shannon's vote. Well, thank you all very much.
Congratulations,
Very humbling to.
Claudia and Shannon. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
guys for
you.
your support, and I'm excited for what's to come.
Same. I look forward to partnering with Shannon and working with all of you. And I feel like there's so much we want to do, and we just need to, Jasmine had the right word, action, so I think and it was great having the conversation, meeting so many people in person, and really having an opportunity to think about our priorities. And so I think there's a lot of good energy, and we'll harness that and move forward. So thank you so much for your confidence, and thank you. All right. I think the next, okay, so the next item on the agenda is old business. So we'll have the committee reports. So the diversification, or is it diversity committee? Sorry.
It's the Diversification of Boards and Commissions Committee. The update is basically what's on the agenda. We're going to present in March, and we're working with the city on our recommendations to do all of this. And our hope is that the city will come on after we present in March and then respond to our presentation so that they talk about what it is that they've already done, because they have already moved forward on a couple things, but then they talk about what they can do now, meaning this year, and then what they can do in the future, meaning next year. So let's hope all this time that we've had, it's going to be a great meeting. I'm really looking forward to it.
Thanks, Sharon. And just to add to that, so the city, myself and Latoya Fernandez, the city's diversity, equity, inclusion officer, will be on and be able to share where or how much progress the city has had since Sharon gave the initial presentation to the mayor and chief of staff. And then Latoya is aware of the other questions in terms of future goals. And additionally, the city is trying to put together some research around which boards and commissions have the least amount of gender parity with vacancies, or need to be filled, or have someone ready to go based on, possibly having no women, for example. So where, because sometimes people leave mid-term or move out of Norwalk. So it's always good to have a batter up in terms of recruitment. So we're putting together that research, and we'll share that with the diversity committee so that we have that information along with Sharon's amazing presentation. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, and I didn't do that by myself, the committee. The whole committee.
Sorry.
But thank you for the credit, but so.
The entire committee. Can you say the name of the committee one more time so I can say it correctly, please?
Yeah, I think Jasmine had updated it to Diversification of Boards and Commissions. Isn't that right, Jasmine? Yeah, so let's stick with that one. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. Anything else on that? Okay, good. Excited to have that conversation and see the progress thus far. Okay, the nominations committee, we just disbanded. That's not the nominating committee, but the nominations committee. So that is no more. And then the research committee, Sarah is not here tonight, and neither is Yvonne or Chantal, who are the other members of that committee. I have also been on that committee. We have not met. We weren't able to meet because somebody was sick. We do have a meeting on the calendar for February 21st. But if anyone has any ideas or thoughts about what the research committee could or should be doing, I just want to open up the space for sharing of any suggestions. I know it's been a while since there's been a kind of full report from that committee.
Claudia, it's Melody. Do you mind just sharing just the main objective of the research committee, since I'm fairly new? I was not part of that meeting where the subcommittees were created.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to go back into the minutes to get the exact how we defined it, which I think is a good idea anyway, to have that kind of fresh and we can recirculate that. Really, the purpose was to identify priorities for the Norwalk community and look and through and identify a tool by which we were going to do that. And really that was going to be, the idea was a survey. And then we were asked to hold by the city to hold off on doing a survey until, as they were also preparing one, and could we align those? I think that was going to be done around DEI, if I'm not mistaken. And so things were a little bit put on hold. We created some survey questions, but we haven't really moved past that. So to succinctly tell you what is the goal or purpose of that committee, I would have to go back to the original minutes and see how we defined it then.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I know I've been doing a little bit of research on different surveys, and I'll definitely join the research committee meeting that we have scheduled for later this month. But there are, I think, other creative ways that we can also, start surveying at least a small subset of our population. I know the Norwalk Health Department, for example, holds many fairs, especially now in the spring and the summertime, that we can do, some mini surveys to, people that come to like different like booths that they set up. I know I volunteered at many different events in past years, and they still have the COVID vaccine clinics that we can also do like a little exit survey on some questions. Again, I don't know exactly what type of survey the city does not want us to conduct. I don't know if they'd be opposed to us just, piggybacking off of some of these smaller events and surveying our population that way. So.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That was actually one of the things that Marguerite Luter had mentioned, the woman from Virginia, and when she was sharing what her commission, the many things that they do, and they did similar idea at a town fair or a town event. They had a table and they got over 800 respondents by doing having a brief survey that people could just answer right there on the spot. So it's a great idea. So I think, yes, we will have that meeting on the 21st. And I think if we can, and through community outreach too, I think that's another incredibly helpful way of both engaging with people, but learning what matters, So yes,
Yeah.
Sharon.
Hi. I just want to talk again about how not being able to do a public survey is a real barrier to our work and the work that we do. And considering the commission that we are, how do we work with the city to get this public survey done so that we can do our work, so that we can understand the internal context of our city? I mean, I understand, I love all these other engagement ideas, but truly a survey to bring forward these issues would really be helpful. And so I'm hearing that the city doesn't want to do it, but like, what's the real, like, have we reapproached them on it? And
I think I'm playing catch up on behalf of the city. So I'd
Yeah.
love to understand, which committee, it sounds like the research committee, right, would be doing this, what the goals are, why, and work with them to deliver some answers.
Yeah, because I had thought a while back, the mayor was pretty open to it originally. So I'm just curious, what is the status of that? And is it still a no-go? It's been over a year. So maybe we have a new answer that we haven't tapped into.
I don't remember getting the question myself, so I'd love to just kind of do some homework and
Okay.
figure that out.
If not, the other routes sound great too, but yeah.
I think for additional context, also, we started to pursue this before Latoya was in place. So that may be a different piece of information at this juncture in time.
Okay, and who should I follow up with to get more information?
That's
Sarah, I believe. Sorry,
Who? No, go ahead.
Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah's the chair of the research committee. So I think she would have the most, I think she would be a good place to start anyway. I think she would know why that got held up. and who was saying no. So
Thank you.
great. Thank you for the comments and yeah. Christina, your hand is up. Did you have another comment or question? No.
My hand was just left up. I didn't put it down.
Okay, anything else on the research committee or any other items that we haven't covered? Okay, seeing none, then I think we can ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Which I'm doing. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jasmine. All right, everyone. The meeting is adjourned at 7:53. Thank you all so much. See you in March, if not before then, and a lot of communication, I know, between folks between now and then. And thank you again.
Thank you. Congratulations and good night, everyone.
So good
Thank you,
night.
everybody. Good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.